It added 6 monsters into the secret dungeon pool, and thank God, honestly, because Gina is a really nice monster to have. She has AoE crowd control on skill 3 with dots. So obviously I'm going to tell you that that's really good for Trial of Ascension, because it is, but she also has some usability in the Steel Fortress. So speaking of the Steel Fortress, number 10 is Zinc. Zinc is still only available through summons, unfortunately. But the video isn't called the top 11 easiest to get LD Nat 3s. It's called the top 11 LD Nat 3s for new players. The reason why Zinc makes an appearance on this list at all is because of the prevalence of buff block on his kit. The last time that we saw Zinc in a video outside of the Steel Fortress was within the top 10 fake passives in Summoner's War, because he kind of has one. Every single one of his skills tries to apply buff block. Emphasis on tries. He will at least attempt it. It's not guaranteed to land. But once you have a Second Awakened Zinc runed up on like double will shield or double will something, or triple will, I don't know you, then you'll notice that your Steel Fortress team just starts to hum. Moving away from the Steel Fortress, Ashir is number 9. He's got a multi-hitting strip on skill 3 that can occasionally reset its cooldown time. He's got a heal with speed buff on his skill 2, and he has just a frankly insane base speed. Admittedly, Ashir's prevalence is predominantly in RTA and other PvP environments, although he admittedly has a lot more niche use in LD only accounts. Because that's where that speed buff really comes into play, because I find that LD only accounts have a hard time with turn cycling because they lack a verd. But that's not what we're talking. We're not worried about that. Ashir is the type of monster that loves to be on your fastest swift set, especially if you're trying to facilitate, say, a snipe or a cleave comp in RTA. Number 8 is Darien the Light Vagabond, the brother to Royd, who's one of the first monsters we get in the game. Darien is admittedly just here for his passive. Darien's passive reduces incoming damage for your allies by 30%, though he takes increased damage. So you kind of got to balance that, but the reason why Darien's already made it to number 8 on the list is because you can use him on your arena defense, but I also find that he is instrumental in getting a starter R5 team up and running, especially when solo R5 is just one of the most important things in the game. If you ever find that you're plateauing in Summoner's War, spending some time in raids might just be the solution. And finding redundant effects that reduce incoming damage like this is super helpful. So between Darien and DS, you'd like to have both of them in your raids comp, just not on the same team because they don't stack. So put like one on the left, one in the middle, right? On your arena defense, it's also a little bit easier too. I like to have Darien paired with something or someone that can prevent death and also give some healing. So namely like Triana or Abellio or both. Number 7, the first monster on this list that doesn't have a Second Awakening, and it's Lynn, the Light Amazon. And I'm so happy to be able to say that she has a secret dungeon now. For years, that wasn't the case. You know, a lot of the monsters that we talked about today are kind of like they're supporty, right? You know, oh, Zinc applies buff block, or Ashir heals, right? Lynn kills people. Lynn does big, max HP scaling damage on every single one of her skills, and that's her claim to fame. In fact, she actually recently made an appearance on the channel in the best max HP damage scalers and why it matters. So if you want to learn more about max HP damage scaling and why it matters, you should watch that video next. Bullet points is that Lynn has always been great, but she got even better with the advent of the Abyss dungeons. So now you can just keep ruining her on Rage the same way you always have and just watch her destroy the boss for you. What's so cool about her too is that her third skill stuns, but if the target is immune to stun, they take increased damage. And that skill from all the way back in the day.
Do some arena matches so I can get my Devamon for the week.
Dude, that's definitely a lesson that we can pass on to people today. Speaking of passing on lessons, what's going on, chat? Welcome back to Account Reviews and Progression Tips. My name's Evan, and with me today, it's Childish. What's up, dude?
Hey, yeah, doing pretty good. It's back at it again.
Back at it
do some
again.
account reviews. Yeah, gonna do some account reviews today. It's been a hot minute since we've been on the Summoners War stream, right? We've been
exactly.
no full strike, but it's good to see you guys.
So funny because yes, for chat, like before stream today, Childish and I were kind of trying to like reverse engineer when the last time we streamed Summoners War together was, and it's been some time. It has been a minute. We've been doing Soul Strike and stuff. Let's say hi to folks in chat real quick. I see Ultra Death Lord, welcome back again. Lucid Zeros, welcome. Over on YouTube, Narinda Paul, we got Izzy, Fast Licks, and more to come. Guys, if this happens to be your first time watching account reviews and progression tips, all you gotta do is hop in chat channel 10 and tell us what your problem is. Tell us what your Twitch handle or YouTube handle is so we know who we're talking to. And Childish and I will do our dangdest to help you out. That's the name.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds like a plan. Before we check the chat channel, though, I did want to shout out the 4,000 day event. I'm sure a lot of people have already been enjoying this so far, but to me, this is like this is probably the most fun event for me in a while, because you just press a button and you get 50 very meaningful things immediately, which I really, it's so fun, like truly. Like, I'll go ahead and rip it. This kind of reads to me as like an interim anniversary event, Childish. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, seriously, actually, I got to give credit where credit is due. Like, I'm actually embarrassed to say how many events that I missed simply for the fact that you have to do so much, but they've simplified this one so easy. And again, they're all really good rewards to obtain. So without question, there's a good chunk of the community that's going to be able to get a piece of this, and the piece is going to be good.
Exactly. No, exactly. Like, it's. I've gotten like tons of scrolls from it already. Like, I've gotten some very good artifacts from this so far, which has been nice. The grinds and gems are always a blessing as well. Yeah, it's good stuff. So we can touch on that more. But like Childish said, like the fact that all you have to do is spend energy, use arena wings, like just exactly what you would normally do in Summoner's War, and you get rewarded for it. I think that's my favorite part about it.
It is good. It is good. Let's switch something up here.
Okay, so, oh wow, Umaki. I need help with building a solo R5 team. That's a lot of baggage on that one. Do we want to touch on that? Do we maybe want to talk a little bit about that, Childish? Like, how are you feeling on that?
I'll tell you what, if it has been, I'm trying to think about the last time I actually developed an R5 team. It had to be like, what, 1981, 1982, something like that. Pretty long ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's something, maybe taking a look at what he has and then seeing if there's something that we can maybe see that's missing or whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah, right? Like, I think maybe we jump on. The other thing that I was thinking too is like, well, I'll tackle this later. I suddenly got it in my head that it could be fun for me to try to take out the BJ5 team and then like see what we can do with just like a starter team or something like that. But let's see what they've got. So this is for Umaki, you know, building a solo R5 team. Okay, so I see they got Liam and a Kamamir on there already. Let's just see what they have out. Could talk about what makes a good solo R5 team versus others. Diversity and leader skills is a big one. Here's actually a pretty good raid unit too. Galadriel. Crow in here. I guess if we start from, let's start from like back here and then we can see what happens.
Right. I was gonna say the question is too, I think this is something we constantly forget, because he does have quite a handful of units and whatnot. You know, does he have the general units that most people use, like the free-to-play units, or is he subbing out some stuff here? Yeah,
that's a good question. That's a really good question too, because
man,
so
look
like
at that skin though on Crow.
Isn't this such a good skin?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Very underrated skin, and he's got the hedrons on him, kind of like MTG. My MTG fans out there, you know, is like from it's very cool, from like Zendikar. So Crow, spectacular for raids because his skills scale with debuffs, and they end up having a lot of debuffs on him.
Yeah. So let's take it. Yeah. So Crow obviously is one of the damage season. What were some of the other ones that he had in there? I wish we had the picture, like a screenshot, so we could look at that original comp there.
Me too. Me too.
Or maybe he can post it in the chat there, so we could talk about the team.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. That is such a compliment. Says Ultra Depth Lord. Matt Expert says, my problem is I need more meta LD5s. Help me, Evan Senpai. Dude, Childish and I will press the LD5 button over here. Okay, we got you.
I'm gonna get some LD5s too.
Oh, whoa! So many more people on YouTube already. Welcome, welcome everybody. I looked away and now so many more people are in chat.
Yeah,
it's Benny.
Yeah. Benny's in the house. What's going on, Ben?
So Childish is really right. Solo R5 teams are kind of hard to talk about without looking at the R5. So what I normally like to do is I like to look at the tenets, like stuff that kind of helps with like the structure of one, like multiple attack buffers and heal options. So like Ergar serves double duty with that sort of thing. So you can actually run an Ergar. He gives attack buff. He gives a unique vampire. Well, it's no longer unique, but it's a vampire. It's one he invented. You can run Crow as damage. You've got Fran for cleanse and immunity. Lauren is still good despite the fact that her defense break is on a passive, but we can do that. Eladriel I foreshadowed as being good for teams that want to like kind of draw out the game a little bit, so he can revive fallen allies and give you a better chance at finishing the game. Do you see any other highlights in here, Childish?
I'm not seeing any. Well, actually, what I'm doing right now, I'm getting ready to bring up my R5 to see if I have anything else to add, considering what you've already said.
2-way vigor as well. 3-turn defense break plus heal and speed boost. This is good.
Yeah. The good thing about the evolution of R5 over the years is that, you know, regardless if you don't have everything that is recommended by any of us, there's so many ways to get this done now. So I'm going to take a look to see
would you feel comfortable showing your R5? Like, could I show it on stream? Would that be chill?
I think you should be able to. Yeah.
Let's do that. Maybe.
Now, the funny thing is, I did re-rune something, so I might have. Oh,
you did.
I might have taken some stuff out. So.
Oh, guys, Childish told me that that he got one of my most wanted LD 4-stars semi recently.
Yes.
Deborah.
Little Miss Deborah. Deborah's
Congratulations.
In the house. Well, thank you. Let me give me a second here. We'll get to this.
Literally a game changer for dungeons. Like, you put her on 3 sets of fight, she doesn't even take a turn. You know, it's like that's amazing. Let me show mine to while.
Yeah, this is my setup. Sorry.
Perfect. Mitchell and Michael, could we go to Childish's gameplay? It looks like they're talking to somebody too, but in the meantime, I'll show mine as well.
I stole their runes. Oh no! I knew I.
Did you steal someone's runes?
I did steal. Yeah, I stole the Baelger's runes. Mind you, I actually have another Baelger that I can throw in here, but.
So something to keep in mind for the solo R5 team, and you know, we don't have to dwell on it too much. This is actually something that like deserves its own stream. To be honest, like this is absolutely something that we should like just take an hour, talk about solo R5 and get it up and running. So I wanted to talk about the roles that certain monsters play, because you'll notice I have a few non-farmable nat 5s in here, but like ultimately they boil down to simple ideas. So Annabelle represents cleanse on a hard skill and defense break. Same with Ariel. Ariel is just cleanse on a hard skill, not a passive, because the boss can oblivion you. So it's like, for instance, you could take away Ariel and like functionally speaking, you could get away with using a second awaken Lulu and friends. Like something like that cleanses and heals your team on a skill rather than a passive. The same is true for Brandia. I actually think Brandia is probably the most optional monster I run because she's just damage. There are so many monsters in the game that just do damage. Now debuff scaling damage is another thing. Childish, what do you run in terms of like damage dealers for your comps?
My damage dealers are going to be Baelger, of course. I got my Baelger in my main team in the middle. I'm actually using an interesting combination. I'm using, we got Crow, we got Ikaru up in here.
Oh, nice.
We got, what else do we got here? I got a revamped version of my homunculus here. This one was for GB10, but I was using him as well for the branding.
Yep.
And then on the left side, I have, on my left team, on my left side, I'm actually using the twins, the water twins.
Oh,
so,
no way.
Believe it or not, it's enough to get the job done. Mind you, I have a couple of them that are, like I said, in the re-runing process here. Like I didn't think we were going to talk about the R5 here, take a look at the thing here. But honestly, it's kind of good to show this because, you know, our teams, like when I look at yours right now versus mine, it's actually quite a bit, you know, similar in some ways, but quite a bit not. But ultimately, you got the same kind of components. You got the unit set there for revive. You got the main leader skills that you're going to be utilizing to amplify your main damage dealers. And then, of course, you have specific units put in play to provide the debuffs to really do a massive amount of damage. Crow, your Wind Homunculus for the branding, so on and so forth. There's a couple of key components here that you just can't get away from. And everything else is kind of icing on the cake there.
Hey, that's a really good way to say it. It's like, most of these things are optional. So I'm kind of going through right now and I'm trying to just find out like where I could make some changes here just to kind of make it a little bit more clear. And I think maybe even instead of this, if I put like a shaman, even though he doesn't get the bonus, he's got really good runes on it. I actually don't know if this will clear. I'll just kind of run it. Yeah. So Functionally, this is free to play. If we were to do a stream about this, I'd probably go into detail about non-BJR5 teams, right? You know, but
and then when this run is done, if you can show your team again, what I think would be a really good idea, we had a couple of people say in the chat, is to have the Comptos team kind of go back and forth between sharing our screens so that they can see the difference between our teams and see what components are similar, what are not, and some of the alternatives that I use versus you.
Great idea, actually. So after this run is done, we'll swap over to Childish's. Let's see. Oh, I learned a fun fact about this. Oh, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to end up spoiling something for later. Oh, my Baelger got Oblivion, so he didn't get any knowledge checks. So at this point, the team has pretty much won. So I think we could probably just go over to Childish's and show, because this clears. Everybody's still alive. So let's see what Childish has to offer.
There you go. The thumbs up.
Oh, nice. Oh, and you've run a Marna. Oh, I love that. I actually love that.
Yeah, this is very generic. And again, you're gonna look at this like, wow, this is kind of like a 2018, 2019 kind of a team here. And truthfully, it is. There's a lot of units that have come out that, you know, provide specific things, but ultimately, if you have the fundamental components, the units to provide the leader skills, the damage dealing, the debuffs, everything. I remember we were talking about, you know, obviously Crow's like one of the best, you know, free-to-play damage dealers in this one. But if you remember way back in the day, Evan, one of the fun units that we used to use, and I used to play around with it still to this day, is the Water Kung Fu Girl, who also has that additional damage that you can have with the additional debuffs. Like, that was another alternative that everybody used before, you know, we had all these units come in and the new 2 days come in. So yeah.
Dude, 100%. I remember running her, Xiaolin. Oh, I was blanking on her name. Xiaolin. Wow. Yeah, like she had the chance to combo into skills, which was really cool. Oh, we got a great message in chat. First time chat, Lone Player 77. Hi, super new, played as a kid, been playing for about a couple months now. I'm enjoying it. I'm here to learn. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you found your way over to the stream today, dude. This is great. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. For people who maybe joined a little later, Childish and I are hanging out in chat channel 10. If you want help, just tell us in chat what you need help with, along with your Twitch or YouTube name, so we kind of know who we're talking to, that sort of thing.
Yep, I'm in channel 10 as well. We're ready to go.
Awesome. Let's swap back over to my screen for a second. Let me just end my raids run real quick, because I don't think I can join other people's islands.
Let's see if you got some legend grinds. Yeah, I was gonna say I'd have to click on them as well, but it's probably better for you to have that control there too.
Mitchell and Michael, could you guys swap my gameplay? Thank you so much. Thank you both. Okay. So next, Fastlix is asking, I'd like to ask Childish for a general review on my account, and also I'd like to have both better arena offense and arena defense.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with like the book. We can go look at like comps.
Yeah. I think the first thing we need to find out is how long he's been playing, so we can kind of get an idea of how much time is spent. So okay, 1 minute, 1 minute dungeon teams there. Let's take a look to see what do you guys going on.
Look at that, 3,000 days since 2016. Also, I think Ultra Deathlord said that it was his 9th anniversary playing the game recently, so that's pretty awesome.
Cool.
1 minute teams.
Let's
I'll say something. I'm going to say something after you take a peek. It's
I mean,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say for an account that's been 2 years, like to have, you know, under a minute comms right now is actually really good. You know, obviously, you're like me now. I'm part of that D squad, the Deborah squad here. I see that you got that one mixed in there with some of your Abyss comps there. Yeah. So, but clearly, you got a good strategy here. Everything looks pretty solid, and it looks like for 2 years you probably have amassed a good amount of runes to make this work. Otherwise, I don't think you'd be able to do it under a minute. So I think one thing to put in there as well, Evan, is that we still talk to this day when, because we have people listening here and maybe watch the stream later, is that just keep in mind that while we could look at all these different YouTuber streamers or get references from other people as far as doing this or trying to make a better team, so to speak. The idea better is relative to your account. always push for sub 1 minute, sub 45 second, or try to get that 30-second one that you see on Shay Joe's account or whatever it is. You want to consistency is the most important thing. Once you get the consistent down, yes, it's all about having a steady run, 100% clear. That's all that matters. If it takes 2 years, great. That means you're going to have more crystals to last. I'll tell you right now, I changed our team recently. I had one of our subscribers, one of my people in the community help me out evolve my comps. And while I'm excited, I'm also sad because I'm going through crystals left and right. So it's like, oh my goodness, like it's crazy.
Farming is crazy. Chat, you saw I hinted at that, right? There's something I was going to say like after. It's exactly what Childish pointed out. So specifically this team, the Dragons comp with Deva Martina. So I use that team, and I know that not everybody has Martina, but for the sake of the point, I think it speaks to it. So it's very fun and flashy to have a 45-second, 50-second comp like what Childish is saying, but it is a blessing and a curse. And ultimately, a team like this, I know this team. This team like is physically incapable of failing. So it's like that team just run something for consistency. Truly, I think that's a great example of something like that. So great teams, dude. Like truly, I love the Deborah comps. By the way,
they are fun. Yeah. Let's
just briefly take a peek and see if there's anything else that we can take away from this. Let's look at.
I was gonna say after you look at that too, I think he was talking about looking at maybe looking at his arena offense team too.
That's right, an arena offense.
And can you let us know in the chat your current arena offense? And I saw that I think you got a C1 rank as the highest finish.
What's up, Gilly? Also, Okamu Starcat says, Evan, look at chat, otherwise I'll remove Water Homunculus from my TOA team. How dare you, Okamu? You better not.
That is one of the greatest units for TOA.
You better not.
Gotta have it.
I think he could maybe do something with this.
A little Leah action?
Yeah, a little bit of Leah action. Like this is pretty classic. I suppose you could also do something with like Van Cliff or an Ongyuki Cleave.
You got so much. I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit considering your comp. I'm actually surprised that you need help. You should be helping us with all them LDs.
Truly, that's what I was gonna joke.
Evan, is he trolling us or is that Contos employee there? What is going on right now?
I don't know, man.
I love this account. This is beautiful.
It is. It's awesome.
That critical rate on Beth is a little sus there.
It's a little sus. No, that one's a little sus. We'd have to, you know what? There's going to be a re-runing that I think we're going to do in a second because Leah also could use a little bit more. Dragon God Lord, what's going on? Welcome. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we might want to make a little bit of a change to this. Leah's a huge speed scaling damage unit. So we want to make her super fast, but we also want to facilitate damage. If we want to use her at all, I could also see a world where you use your Ongyuki as a cleave option.
You got Ongyuki, you got Grogan there. And Grogan now, remember he has that component that allows him to kind of take 2 turns similar to Alicia, so that's another phenomenal unit as well. I use personally Grogan with Alicia. I just run a shield will comp with Tiana Galleon, and I'd never have any issues, even though I don't have as much damage as some of these fat Lucians or whatever other kind of comps out there. I have essentially 4 attacks in one between both of the units here, and obviously they're not not everybody's gonna have that Grog whenever, but at least Alicia is fairly something you can obtain over time. So
yeah, I actually think that I think that's a really solid suggestion. But so Tiana Galleon is a great foundation. I don't know if you have a Tiana. If you don't, I suppose we could offer up like a secondary strip option. I don't see a super stellar one. Let me go look over here and just see if there's maybe in the light or dark category.
And while he's kind of taking a look at the teams want to hear, one thing that I can kind of throw off too on the side is that for the people out there that are still coming up in the arena ranked and trying to progress on that, we want to be helpful, but we want to be realistic about our goals here. And if your goal is to push, to be like to get your highest arena offense possible, then just like we talked about in various other aspects of the game, we kind of have to focus on 1, 2, specific teams. If you're one of those people out there that have all these fun units that, you decide to build multiple teams to try to counter certain comps, it's going to take away from the quality of your teams. And so, never want to, spread your runes too thin. In addition to that, on the defensive side, we need to be realistic about our expectations given our quality of runes and what we're trying to use in our teams. For example, if we were to set up a team that is Lucianable, and you know that people are, if you set up a team that's Lucianable, you know that generally that's a very common team that people are going to utilize. So if you're looking to catch people off guard, throw a team in there that is not going to bring in, every single person that want to attack it. You want to motivate them to not click on your arena defense over somebody other. If you make something that's very easy to take out, then you're going to have a hard time maintaining the rank that you use to climb while you're climbing like arena offense and stuff like that.
So yeah, you can like dissuade. The power of dissuasion, and deference is very powerful in arena defenses.
Yep.
Like this defense looks annoying actually, which is a huge compliment.
I know. You wouldn't think that annoying and compliment would go to the same thing, but it is. He's absolutely right, Evan. You're absolutely right. You want it to be a pain in the butt to deal with. You want people to like just sigh and move on, because again, over time, people are gonna, if somebody's choosing to fight you, they are super confident in their ability to take you out. There's nothing you can do about that because they have that control. However, what you can't control is your ability to motivate them to, either deter away from you or get them in your trap, as we call trap defenses. So I like the concept of trap defenses because generally speaking, the runes needed to set some of those up doesn't require your general runes that you use on other stuff, right? The Nemesis concept, right? Nemesis trap, we already know what that's about with certain units and whatnot. So I personally like it. I've seen a lot of people use Nemesis traps even with teams that look like they're Lucianable. But nowadays with these comps out there, the quality of the units, the amount of fight runes people are carrying on these units, like, oh my gosh, it's getting harder and harder.
You know what? That actually gave me inspiration. I think maybe for my defense, I might swap these. They're not ruined currently, but I think this might be a project for me, just so that way I don't forget. I think I might use Molly. And where's my Halphus? I don't know if I built my Halphus actually, but I did get one, and I was low-key super excited about it. I'll go see if I have him out. That'd be hype. Oh man, am I gonna have to dig for this guy?
Dig it. Get in there. I see Lone Player 77. He's a super new player. Been playing for a couple of months now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm here to learn. Congratulations. Welcome to the fam. It's crazy to think that we still have, so many new people coming into the game after 10 years, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to...
After 4,000 days. After 4,000 days.
4,000 days, dude.
4,000 days.
So next, let's go help. This is Narinder over on chat.
Yep. Okay.
Akanarkos, I need help with RTA. Let's take a peek. Let's see what they got. Oh, I should have checked their... Let me go back. I should have checked their book first just to see where they're hovering around, just for our reference. Looks like C1 is where they've closed. So that means they've probably... C1, maybe dipped into C2, came back down and closed C1, right? So you can keep that in mind.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna say I'm even looking on my end too. I can't see. Is it Anna? Okay, Akanarkos.
Yes, that's the one.
Akanarkos, are you able to send the message as well back in the chat too? So I'm able to click on you. I'm looking at both screens here, but I can't see the last comment you made. So.
Oh, good call.
But yeah.
Okay,
that way we can double up here.
In here, let's just I'm just gonna cycle through first and highlight a few monsters that just kind of like get me excited when I look at this account, right? So I see the Chow, there's a Hagang, a Nana, Miles to keep in mind, Minato, Adriana, Vanessa, 33 speed lead, good counter pick with Juno and Leica. Oh, a Velajewel, okay, now we're cooking. Now we're really cooking. This has probably got, this has got the coolest skill animation in the entire game for me. Necromancy Commander. Not saying you're gonna draft it in RTA necessarily, but like, coolest skill animation in the game. They've got a Smicer, a Byung-Chul. Here we go, now we're cooking. A Narsha? Okay, yeah,
Easy
see,
game.
this is pretty exciting. Okay.
I was gonna say, Evan, I don't.
Yeah.
I think people are. They're giving us. They're giving us a hard time. They may be trolling because teams like this, it's like, holy cow.
Honestly, sometimes,
like an instant, yeah.
Sometimes, dude, it takes a second pair of eyes. Like, it's so funny to say that, but it's like, I think you're right. Is that these teams can sometimes write themselves, but like, occasionally, folks just need that assistance. Oh my God, there's a Laura. So my first instinct here, right, like, is a go fast snipe comp. And so what I mean by that is we find you a speed lead, one or two speed leads. Then you can draft some combination of like Ashir, Laura, Narsha, something like that. Laura's got a super high base speed. Ashir pushes you even further, gives a speed buff, so Narsha deals more damage. And then like this gives a speed buff and also an attack buff, but it's also not a speed lead. So the only one that I saw that really stood out were Ciara and Vanessa. What do you think about this, where I'm kind of leaning here, Childish? Are you liking the snipe idea?
Yeah, without question. I mean, you got some of the strongest speed scaling units in the game. I would definitely play around with it as well. I did see, again, I mean, you got so many options to mess around with. Well, outside of the Juno, what was his other? I'm assuming he has like a Chiwu. What are some of the other like strippers that he have that provide some other kind of value? Does he have water Ryu as well?
So he's got that. I didn't see. So Laura, I saw Laura. I didn't see Chiwu. Oh, there is a Chiwu here. But then we can also, there was another recommendation that I was just, and there's speed scaling damage again here with Taeor. So like, you can do something like Savannah, Narsha, Taeor even, or like, these are 3 different elements of damage in the snipe. Your account was built for this, dude. Like
blessed.
Like truly.
Absolutely blessed.
There's also Byung-chul. He strips, he steals buffs, and he auto crits too. The only thing, he's a very slow base speed, so like he'd be hard to tune to the rest of the comp if that's something you want to do. So again, to me, the snipe comp writes itself. You just have certain things ruined. Like you've got the Narsha, you get the Savannah, the Taeor as your main damage sources, Laura to open them up. You get Ashir for the speed buff. Adriana for the attack buff to threaten that, and you rune up a Miles too, right? Like you rune up a Miles so that way you get way more damage that scales with buffs and his speed. There is a world where you could do a bruiser comp in here, but to me, I think that's boring. I think your account is truly like just, it wants to snipe people. Like it's so rare where it's like usually when I review these accounts, Childish, I'm always like, okay, you can kind of go control, you can go like cleave, you can do this sort of, you have a unique counter cleave. This account just wants to snipe. Like that's what it really wants to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say the good thing about this one is that you have specific units. You're very fortunate to have specific units that are not not common, so you can even play into it and draft in such a way that motivates your person to, or motivates a team to like kind of decide, where they want to go. Do they want to stick with their strategy because you're looking so strong and your team is looking solid, or do they need to pivot because of what you've laid out? Like me, let me give you an example. I've in the past I've gone back and forth between laying out Ziana. Ziana is one of the
Dark Beast Rider
units that I've used early on. And the good thing about her with relation to you is that the element of kind of neutrality, right? You don't have to worry about the element there. So if you lay it out like second round, you can wait to see his last pick, and then you can capitalize by bringing out a unit that's strong towards what he has that works with your comp, but it was also gives you that elemental advantage as well. Whereas if you were to utilize other units that are not LD and lay them out a little too early, they might be able to change their comp in such a way to take advantage of that. So that's something to consider as well. If anybody out there that has the LD options, that's definitely something to consider for sure.
For the record, chat, that R5 run I didn't get defeated, I ended it, which counts as a defeat, unfortunately. Avery says, Evan versus Avery. Dude, we're doing account reviews today, bro. We could see what's going on. Maybe after stream, if you want to fight. This is telling me I should do another push-up stream soon, so that way Avery can have a chance to kind of get that energy out. Marina says, yo, I made an LD only account after last stream if you'd like to take a look. Also, Fire Water Beast is killing me. Yes, actually. So this is a cool, like, part 2. So Marina last time was saying was saying how cool it was to have an LD only account. And I kind of think it's cool too. It looks really tough. It looks like kind of a fun new way to play Summoners War. So I'm glad that you followed up on that, Marina. That's actually really cool.
Yep.
And there was one that I wanted to go to next. Stand by.
Yeah, while you're getting that, I do want to mention too, I want to give a shout out to Nelly the God. I don't know if you know, but for season 32, he actually decided to rune up an LD only team for RTA to see how good he could do, and he's had an absolute blast doing it. We talked on his side privately and talked about different options he can do to mix things up, and he was trying to bring in like a turn 1 comp with a couple of turn 2 units, and I'm like, no, you got to commit one way, turn 1 or turn 2, and then because you're limited already on LD units, then go ahead and put all your best runes on those and see how you do. And he actually did pretty well. I think he got C1 and possibly close to C2. I think it might just be C1 though.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Marina says, and of course I got Ren, Molong, Fire Gladiatrix, and Jade right after. I can't use that's so funny. I can't figure out TA and D-Bot. Magu, let me help. We can help you right after Glaz Goblins. So Glaz, I'm down for you to take my box, maybe tips on anything you guys can think of.
I was gonna say Glaz Goblin. We're still in there. That's so weird. I can't see his message here. I don't know if I'm missing chat or what there, but I'll have to rely on your screen.
10? It's at the very top.
Yeah, I'm in chat now.
Oh, but it might be because you know what? It's at the very top.
I found him.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yep.
So let's see what to work on. He's only been playing for 75 days.
Oh wow, this is a super fresh account.
Super fresh. I don't know if this is the team you're currently using, Glaz, but I think we talked about this last time, actually. I might be repeating myself, but it's still good for people to hear it. So if you want to do the Teshar speed team, the hardest part about that team is having a Teshar. Like if you can get a Teshar, you can make the team. It's actually pretty easy to make. I'll use easy TM, right? Because Teshar provides a crit rate leader skill, which lessens the burden of crit rate that you need to have for when you rune your monsters. So if you just shift the Wind Phoenix to that leader slot, you can even take out the Shannon, take out the Bella. We don't need them where we're going. Instead, you can use Praelia, the Wind Harpy, have her go first, set up defense break. Teshar goes next, then Konamiya, then the Shaman after that. Like, yeah.
Hey Evan, if I may, let's get a thumbs up to Michael over here. We'll do a little switcheroony because I actually have a Teshar team. That's what I'm running right now, so you guys can see how this is set up here, and then
Michael and Mitchell,
afterwards
could you guys swap over to Childish's gameplay? Oh, I don't know if they're. Oh yes, could you swap it over for me, Mitchell? Thank you, dude. They're gonna swap. They'll swap that over. I think they're gonna swap it over. If not, I also have. I actually also have that team, but I think I currently don't. Let me take a look. I think I've got it set for Kyle. I do have it set for Kyle, but I can easily change that. So if I do this, let's just show it hypothetically, right? And then who do I normally use for this? Oh, the Wind Homunculus. The Wind Homunculus. So we'll show Childish's still after this as soon as they can, but just so you guys can get an idea of what the team is. It looks complicated, but like truly, it's actually pretty easy, right, Charles? Do you feel that too?
Right. Yeah. No. It's very good, and I'm actually embarrassed to say, it took the help of a really good friend of mine, Matt Expert, once again in the chat. Shout out to him. He was the one that assisted me in kind of evolving my team because I was sitting there with it like a minute 45 comp, and we realized that we've gotten to the point now where we have a fair amount of runes, and I think as you're proving too, the rune quality doesn't have to be. It's not like a super high one that most people consider. So yeah.
And watch this, because it's very safe because the Wind Homunculus, comes back and then he kills. So it's like that is the fail-safe for the comp. And this was actually slow because they missed defense break on that one wave. So it's like it's a pretty solid comp. Ooh, let's actually roll that.
I was gonna say, in addition to obviously having the fight runes and whatnot, I think that the big key is, like you were saying, take advantage of the leader skill that you're utilizing when you come to Teshar. So for your damage dealers, while you could have, a setup that gives you like, 98% crit rate with 170 crit damage, you might be able to find a combination that gives you 30 to 40 more crit damage with lesser crit rate. And you can do that because you have the reliability of the leader skill to give you that capped off. Yeah, look at that.
That's the best. Yeah, and technically my Teshar's crit rate is actually too high because this gives you a 33% increase, and Teshar has elemental advantage. So that means that he gets an additional 15% when fighting up against a boss. So it's like, this is too high. Like, I could technically make a stronger Teshar, I just don't need to. And someone asked me about the turn order for this team again. Let me show you. So in turn order, this is how it goes. So from top over, right? So it starts with this, then it goes Teshar, Kona boosts Teshar, Teshar moves again, then the Wind Homunculus attacks, and then Shaman attacks. So, Mitchell, do you think you could swap over to Childish's gameplay when you get a chance, and we can take a look at his? Awesome. Thank you so much. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to move it back over to the Kyle comp, so that way, if we're so inclined, we could show that too. Okay, so let's see yours. Oh, so you're using Luna.
Yep. We got Luna in there. Mind you, it'll probably get swapped out for Deborah. Deborah will kind of fill that spot in there. But right now, we got the Luna. Now take a look at my Teshar. My Teshar here.
Oh, that's
a little bit more attack than yours, but we're taking advantage of that critical rate leader skill. Again, 33 leader skill plus that 15%. We're basically covered, and we got a little bit more critical damage. Now there is a little bit of value that I need to put in here when it comes to my Devilmons here. I haven't maxed that one out. Okay. But ultimately the idea is sound, right?
Can I see that actually? Do you need that last skill up? Can I see? I don't know. I think that's cool.
The skill up is a cooldown. No, I think it's very important. Now, mind you, like I said, this was a recent change on my thing. But like I said, that's why my R5 team was a little bit off. I recently rerun this up. I have not used Teshar in a very, very long time. It's just as of recent, like at the beginning of this year is when we made some adjustments here.
Yeah.
Prillia is going to be the main one that I use for fight. A little bit of damage there, a little accuracy, a little reliability. Luna, she's the one that stole Baelger's runes, and so she's sitting here with a good amount of crit damage.
So this is the thief.
This is the thief right here. Yeah, this ability right here is super good. I love the attack bar improvement as well.
And Glass Goblins in chat, who's big in, says, I have the units for speed teams ready to rune for Dragons and Giants after you showed me yours last time. Awesome. That's dope. Do you wanna run it and then we can see?
Yeah.
See how yours does?
And I wanna point something out because I'm sure we're gonna get in the chat. If you notice here, some of the units of the Wind Homunculus, like I said, the Tesha whatnot, we're not they're not skilled up all the way, so there's a little bit of value of loss. But once again, if you're a free-to-play player, getting in that concept of what we're talking about, the dungeon, if your particular setup works, gets the job done, then don't sweat it. You might be limited in Devilmon, you might be limited in other resources. If that's the case and you're able to get it done with the way how you have it set up, then that's fine. If you want to improve it down the road, min-max a little bit, great. But you can see right now, that's not, I'm able to take advantage of course, the runes that I have, the quality of that, and it's allowing me to kind of get away with not having my Wind Homunculus mech out, because prior to it was just an R5 debuffer, and I never used it for anything else. So I never, put any additional Devilmons in it as well. But now I can make an argument for it, especially for Teshar, so I can get that passive for the AoE clear when he misses. So
yeah, legit. Like this team is it's so good. It's fun to watch. It's efficient, and it's weirdly loosey-goosey in terms of like the runes like necessary, because that's really what I try to hammer home with people is like the only hard part about this team is having the Teshar. If you can get Teshar, like there's a reason why he was the #1 most chosen monster in the 10th anniversary. Like truly, he earned it, and also like he's just great. I've gone on and on about that. Alternatively, you can use the Kyle comp. So if you don't have a Teshar and you want to do this like full free to play, Actually, I don't know is Kyle free to play? I don't know if Kyle's technically. I think you still need to get a Kyle, but a 4-star is going to come to you easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
it's going to come a lot easier, yeah.
Sorry, guys, my shoe got untied. Give me 1 second. But like, but yes, so you can use the Kyle comp here. It's a little bit, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say it's anything. I actually got it to run last time. I have it set for dragons, and it transferred over swimmingly to giants.
Yeah, right now for mine is the cow comp would work. I have to make some adjustments on the Konamiya, changing the speed a little bit or whatnot. But overall, yeah, I think it's the job done.
If we wanted to, I could maybe show that one as well. But let's
Sure,
you know
yeah,
what?
that'd be
Yeah,
great.
let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, switch on over to yours.
How do you like the Teshar transmog, by the way? Does that make it? That makes the animations faster. Yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's kind of crazy. I never thought it would make such a changer, but yeah, I've noticed over the years some of the transmogs do seem better. I think the first one, when I first noticed one, was I think it was a version of Julie. I think it was like a hip hop version of Julie when Julie was super popular. I mean, Julie is still very popular, but
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed her. It's really cool. Really sped it up a little bit.
Julie's a monster that I've actually never quite gotten to work for me. I think it's because she demands runes that I have on other monsters that I refuse to move around. You know, it's like I can't. Like
Right.
she needs runes that like my Verd has, that like my Baelger has, now my Kyle. Zoe,
Yeah.
what's going on? It says meow. Meow. Meow back, Zoe.
Nice.
What's up, dude? So Magu says, I wanted to build the Kyle comp, but I don't know what units to use with my box. No Luna. Dude, great news for you. There's actually a guide. There's a Kyle team guide that I'm making that's coming out soon.
Awesome.
I think it's going to be this Saturday. Don't hold me to that. I actually think it's going to be this Saturday. Should be cool. The only thing I will tell you is that other people who have already created guides are out there. So if you don't want to wait until Saturday, or if you just want to like, you know, if you truly just want to copy my speeds, you can do that. Like if I was to just show you this, or you'll see them again on the in the video, but if you can just copy the speeds, you can essentially make this team very easily using the advanced rune settings in game. But let's get started. First, let me give you the turn order for the comp. The turn order is extremely similar, right? So the turn order goes like this. So Prilea moves first, then Kyle, who's the functional equivalent of the Water Dhalsim, who I have, then Tion, then Konamiya, then Shaman. The only thing that I'm going to say as a disclaimer is that my team is very much tuned to dragons. I'm actually missing crit rate for this, and I'm also missing damage dealt on water. So with all those disclaimers out of the way, let's just run it and see what happens. But it may fail because it's optimized for dragons and not giants. With that said, it's going pretty well.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say too. I know you showed your artifacts up here. That's another thing that I think a lot of people forget about too, is the value of artifacts and what could it do to amplify your comp. The elemental advantage, very important. Very important if you can get it. That would obviously help over time if you got those artifacts, and if you don't, it's time to start farming those too.
Yes. So the fact that we made it past that point means that the team has pretty much worked. And again, I built this one for dragons specifically, and it's just kind of a happy accident that it can work for giants as well, like, which is great.
Yeah. Now, Evan, for your comp or for your damage dealers on your teams, do you have any specific like artifacts that you've been using that's been working
Great
really good? Do you focus on just elemental questions, or elemental damage, or do you focus on the additional critical damage based on the HP? What do you generally focus on for your artifacts?
Such a good question, because I actually, why that's a great question too is because I actually think this team is made or broken by the artifacts. So on my Dhalsim, I have damage dealt on fire, and coincidentally, I actually didn't know I had damage dealt on water on here. But so the fire being for the dragon boss, water being for the giant, own turn crit damage I have up, and crit damage as enemy more HP. This one's always so weird, as they're closer to max HP. On the side here, and I'm a special note to something in a second, skill 1 crit damage up, skill 2 crit damage up. Anytime you see crit damage, get it. But I want to just note something important. You see that this is not an attack primary stat. For this sort of team, dude, like truly, like I actually think that substats matter more than the main stat.
It is. Yep, I completely agree. The amount of value that you're going to get from a artifact like that, giving you 17% critical damage versus 100 attack, you can put it in any calculator. It's definitely a better option, without question.
Way better. And you guys will notice, right? I already kind of made fun of myself here a little bit. I'm lacking crit rate even on dragons, right? So on dragons, his crit rate is 95 up against the boss. So I'm still missing. There are times where he will find that 5% that I'm missing, and it'll cost me the run. But it's like, that's a me problem. Like, I don't want to put in the effort to go refine that. That is avoidable if you just get him to 85. But with Shaman, I don't take that risk. I am a strong advocate for 100% crit rate on him because of the element neutrality. You get nothing extra when attacking the boss. So this is very important. Let's talk artifacts for a second, because I do think that he's a little overstated, actually. You can get away with less. Crit damage as the enemy's HP goes down. Own turn crit damage, damage dealt on water and fire. Wow, my team's actually more ready for flexibility than I thought it was. And then over here, crit damage is less enemy max HP, and then crit damage skill 2. The 2 in the middle don't really matter there. One more thing I'm going to draw attention to. I have my skill 2 fully maxed, and I actually think that's slightly more important than it sounds, because oftentimes, what this equates to is that he will always have his skill 2 up when you transition to the boss wave.
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Yep. I like it too, and it's funny. Like I said, not only having the good quality effects, paying attention to the details on those. Like you'll note that with the shaman or with your Kyle, the Dulcian,
Kyle.
The ones that you focus on when it comes to artifacts, you have the critical damage. When they have more HP because he's the one that's going to be first attacking. Whereas a unit like shaman is generally the last one to go to provide the damage, and he's going to get more value because of the fact that you chose an artifact that gives you the critical damage. It goes. I think it's up as the HP goes down. Yeah. So it's great. It's unbelievable the amount of optimization that can be had when you really take a look at hard look at your artifacts and see what you can incorporate.
Yeah. I'll just do a quick run on dragons just to kind of iron it out. I do find that Lauren is the one that infuriates me the most in this comp, actually. Like, she will make or break it, I have her ruined on like 100% accuracy, I think, but, sometimes she just decides not to. Oh, another note. See, she missed defense break. But another note about this, you'll notice that my team really slows down on that wave, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, actually, you know what? I'll tell you now. I was going to interrupt myself and say something else, but I think it's important to do it now. I've tried a lot of builds for Lauren. I've tried triple fight, I've tried violent fight. Right now, where I've settled is swift fight. So it turns out if you run Lauren on swift with plus 170 speed, assuming you have a max speed tower, right? Or speed skill, as it were, you will get a guaranteed second turn before the boss moves. So that number again is plus 170. So if you can hit that number on swift, I prefer swift to violent just because it's a guaranteed second turn. It's a little more complicated because she moves at an awkward time, right? Because at that point, everybody else is already gone. But still, I find that it's valuable because she can at least reduce attack bar and stuff. I know we're getting real down into the weeds about this, but this is a pretty important team, I think, right now, Childish. This is like probably the best team in the game right now.
Yeah, I think it is a very strong team, and I'm glad that it's able to be built with the majority of the units, being free to play. It's always good to have like a high quality team like that, and it's something that we can showcase. It's not just like a Deborah team or whatever the case may be, right? It's something that everybody can use.
Does anybody know how to get a Kyle to work on Necro? Like, has anybody gotten that? Because I know that Kona and Tion won't work because it functions around attack bar boost, and attack bar boost is turned off in Necro. But oh, Magu says unawakened intentionally. Yes. So but only one of them. It's important. It's kind of more to me. It's more of a testament to how few resources you need to build it. As long as you have the runes. The runes are obviously going to be hard to get, but like Tion can be awakened if you so choose. In fact, I have one. But Kona actually doesn't get skill 3 when it's unawakened. So that means he'll never use it. And that can sometimes be a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very good point. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get back with one of the one of the followers here in the channel 10 made a comment about I want to climb RTA, but my runes are too slow. I just wanted to point something out here when it comes to that. Because I'm sure a lot of people coming into the game, they jump into RTA a little too fast and they don't realize that it's something that's a little bit more down the road. And, to put it bluntly, a lot of time does need to be spent on the rune farming, on the artifact farming before you can really establish a really solid comp. That being said, though, one of the things that like I said, I was talking to Nelly the God about was like, he was saying, well, I've kind of hit a mark because I just don't have the speed to do it. Like, well, yeah, maybe you don't have the speed, but how are your mid game units, or how is your bruiser type comps going? Do you have the runes to make really tanky units with good effective HP and super high resistant? Because if you have something like that, then take advantage of that. As much as you and I both like the turn 1 style, if your account says, hey, you should probably play turn 2 because you have the runes and the units to back it up, then hey, that's what matters, right?
Yeah, and turn 2 can be real fun. I love the mid game of Summoner's War. This is Magu, who's already been, and I think we actually kind of answered Magu's question because they were asking about Dragon's Abyss. Magu, are you a Magic player by chance? Because is this not Black Lotus on as your profile picture?
That
Just
looks
asking.
like Black Lotus. Yeah.
It looks like Black Lotus because we
Looks
a lot of MTG fans in chat. So if you're an MTG fan, that would be awesome. Yeah, it is. Let's go, dude.
There it
That's
is.
awesome.
Very
Oh,
nice.
that's
Very
great.
nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, you are in the right place then, Magu. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of MTG fans. I love Magic. I've been playing since 2013, actually. Just need some RTA ideas. You got it, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah, I got your account put up on my end so I can scroll on my side while Evan is scrolling on his side too.
So F3, they have some really cool LDs. Let's jump over there real quick.
I keep on forgetting that I can't look at somebody's account if I'm doing a repeat battle. I gotta stop.
Right. Eleanoa. So I actually really want Eleanoa. This is one of my most wanted LD5s. She's in my top 5, actually. Been trying to find the Monsai for the dog meat commander deck. No, the money for, I thank you for clarifying. I didn't say it. Asterix, that's awesome for a dog meat commander deck. He seemed like a fun commander when that set was, when the Fallout set was coming out. That seems really cool. I'm waiting for the Final Fantasy set. I'm very stoked about that. But my box is a little bit awkward, says Magu. So they're hovering around C1, C2. Oh, yo, dude. Okay, wait. Let's get into this, Childish. They actually have a really cool account and a lot of really relevant Nat 5s back here I'm seeing.
Yeah, it looks like he has a lot that hasn't even been built. So
yeah, like looking back here, they have some very cool options for stuff, like the Zibala, the Smicer, Annabelle, who isn't used a ton in RTA, but let's talk about like highlight points going back to front. So we start with LDs. Alexandra, super fun, like turn 2, counter cleave, kind of, Thorns option, right? If you find this in another RPG, it'd be like Thorns, right? You equip a rune set or like an armor set and it reflects damage back at them. What I think is so cool about her is that it's AoE reflect, and that's very rare.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
yeah, I love the skin that you're using, by the way. That skin is awesome. I love that.
I think there could be actually something. Selected target will go under threat state while the enemies attack with single target skill. There's something to be said about a Mookwol Alexandra thing,
Yeah, and then Mookwol has some crazy base speed too as well, so you definitely could throw that in if you wanted to.
Oh my god, 117? I did not know he was 117. That's so fast.
He's great. He's crazy fast.
That is so fast. So there's something to be said about putting threat state on your Alexandra, so that way they have to attack into her. Reflects 20% of the received damage back to all enemies. This isn't necessarily something you have to do every single game. You could do this selectively when you see like someone's trying to cleave you or something, right? Threat state might have a little bit of anti-synergy, but like just a small bit, because threat state reduces incoming damage. So it's like, you're making them attack her, but they're also taking less damage because she's taking less damage. But it's cool enough that I'm willing to recommend it. And then you can run things like a Gapsu if you're so inclined, so that way you can increase dark HP by 50%.
Other cool things in here. Let me know if you see anything that really stands out to you, Childish. I think an Elanella is also right at home in something like that. Like cycling attack bars is great, and also Gapsu helps to circumvent the 10% HP you're burning. Like he can heal back. Oh, the Wind Zenny is really good.
This account is stacked too. A lot of fun LD5s.
The Wind Zenny is awesome. This wait.
He has light Zenitsu too.
This one right here. I don't know what the light one does off the top of my head. I forget which one the light one is.
Yeah, immunity against inability effects, attack bar. Let's see, by 50% when an ally, excluding yourself, under inability effect gets a turn. So.
Okay, so ultimately, I think there is a world where they can do the bruiser comp like we suggested, and they can throw in like a Miles and a Bellio or something like that, right, to kind of help them float, right? And Chandra's your speed lead, etc. But I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that you do also have a very strong account for control. So I'm seeing like crowd control follow-up options, like this Jongnam is one of the most popular follow-ups. I see you have the Water Inosuke here. The Water Inosuke is a guaranteed activation on strip, not a guaranteed strip. Very different. It's a guaranteed activation. So that means he will try. They can still resist it. You also have more to open it up. But to follow up with that, so you've got Jongnam, right? And then back here, unbuilt, you have a Zabala. This is a really strong crowd control option. Smicer also works well on that comp.
He has a Carno as well. That's a fun unit if you can speed tune it behind a couple of units there. Very debuff oriented. I don't know if he has yeah,
the Carnal and the Belinus actually.
Yeah.
So I think this account could go either direction. You could go Bruiser, you know, and you can occasionally, depending on what they draft, you could bring a Leica. I truly, guys, would not bring Leica if they have multi-hits. Like, if they only have single hitting effects, then you can bring him. But if they have multi-hits, don't do it. I actually think that what's even stronger, though, is the Alexandra, the Mookwol, Gapsu, Elenoa. Like, this is what I would be playing if I had this account. Like, I would be playing, like, pseudo gimmicky, like, high HP dark monsters, turn cycling Elenoa. You hit me, I hit you back type thing, you know?
No.
Stop hitting yourself.
Got a comment in the chat too. They were talking about, since we were talking about strippers and stuff like that, they were asking about the Fire Arm Master. What's your opinion on that? Do you like it? Do you think it's any good?
I do like him. This is it's a little bit of a hot take, right? Because do you like him too?
I think it's an absolute blast. Yeah, Jogan for me was fun. I actually got him when he was ultra strong, having the attack buff with the speed. I still think he's good, and I like the scroll trap component, but as of recent, I feel like the scroll trap hasn't been as reliable as I wanted to, or maybe I'm just that unlucky. It reminds me of like the whole RNG kind of concept of CR and her bomb, right? It's kind of a make or break for you to when you use that comp. But it is another option if you want to. You know, if you're looking to bring in, you know, a stripper that provides a little bit of added damage from the attack buff, then yeah, that could be the way to go. But for me personally, when it comes to my strippers, I generally lean towards the ones that provide the speed lead, the Water Ryu, the Chiwu, because those kind of kill two birds with one stone, and it makes it a little bit easier to, you know, accomplish whatever goal it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah, 100%. And also, Fixetti says, is Fire Monkey King any good? Oh my god, dude. He's one of my favorite units for RTA, truly. I love that monster. Rune him on 100% crit rate on Violent Revenge. You're gonna have so much fun. Speed, crit damage, HP on 246. Mr. Penguin King, thank you so much for hanging out today. Enjoy the rest of your workday. Yeah, do not go with Leica if they have Liam. That's hilarious, dude. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, we're already over. Let's keep going for a little bit longer.
We went pretty quick there.
Yeah, let's keep going.
I will say this though, for the turn one players too, if you are bringing in stuff that's snipe, make sure that, you know, obviously you're understand the value of runes and what you can do, but make sure that if you are running something that's you know, focused on sniping, make sure that it does have max crit rate. Don't gamble with 92, 93% or whatever. Make sure that it is ultra reliable. There's nothing more triggering than to see a Sonya miss her crit, you know, when you had the easiest chance in the world to snipe a unit. So
So Justin Armstrong says, for new players, we don't know the Awakened names yet. Every time I watch your videos, I had to search through all my monsters to find the other name. Oh, dude, yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, that's something we can try to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? More cautious of in the future too, Justin, because that's incredibly relevant. Like, I remember that too. Like, that's actually how I got to like really deep dive in Summoner's War, is like every time I heard a name I didn't know, I Googled it, or I like tried to find it in game or something like that. But yeah, it can definitely be difficult. Firo says, used Command SWGC. Thank you for that, actually. Command SWGC, for folks who might be interested, the Guardians Club is still accepting signups for 2025. It's one of the most effective ways to get very exclusive Summoner's War merch, and you get to participate in cool events, kind of like, including but not limited to the Guardians Club tournament down the line, and there's so much more. So scope it out. The website's actually in the description of the YouTube stream, but you can use Command SWGC if you're on Twitch. Yuna, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody from Yuna's stream. What's going on? And then what am I tapped on this for a reason. Oh, so this player asked about artifact tips for new players, saying that they got overwhelmed by artifacts. So Childish, you want to tell them a few like kind of like catch-all artifact rules?
Well, I mean, I'll start with the generic stuff and I'll have you fill in. I think the first thing that we got to talk about when it comes to the artifact is just the overall value that you get from just the generic, like regular stat. You know, when we're talking about getting the runes, getting, you know, additional stats and whatnot, I wouldn't be overly concerned as to having the, what things do I need to focus on right away, more so than getting a set of artifacts and all the main units that you use for the dungeon farming, because again, this overall stats at the end of the day is going to help you. And you know, me personally, when I'm looking at especially dungeon teams that, you know, I'm trying to make it a little bit fast, I'm looking for all the ways to amplify the damage, you know, whether it's additional damage via speed, attack, HP, or defense, whether it's, you know, the overall, you know, specific skill line damage, first hit damage, you know, the ones that we showcase on Evan's account, you know, critical damage based on whatever HP. It's a lot, but ultimately, if you start from just getting the artifacts and taking the time to farm the artifacts, similar to what you did, you know, those first few months getting your regular runes, I think you'll notice just across the board it's going to be a little bit easier. The artifacts take a long time to get exactly what you want. I still to this day talk with some of the best players out there in the world, and when they look at my account, they're like, you know what, dude, you could be up there if you really wanted to, but what's slowing you down is the artifacts. I just don't farm enough, and if I did, I would have a little bit more variety and possibly, you know, a little bit better ones.
It truly is something that you'll be working on for a while, and I mean that in a very positive way. It's not something that, specifically for the substats, I'd say if you know, just to echo what Childish is saying, like, don't worry about the substats as much as just getting them on your monsters. Legitimately, I want to highlight something real quick. Joey, who's asking this account, I don't know if this is your first account, but has only been playing for 27 days. Even if this is a second account, 27 days and you have close to 1 minute clear times on every single dungeon. This is crazy.
That's amazing.
You're doing a great job. Like, truly, this is super impressive. Even if you've already played the game before, like, you know, 27 days in, close to a minute, like at the point that you're at, just put artifacts on, and then from there start identifying what substats benefit you, where you're using them. So like we went into detail about it, and Childish, I think, answered it perfectly eloquently. Is just like for instance, dragons, you're gonna want to have increased damage on fire, or like crit damage for your Veramos, like skill 2 crit damage, own turn crit damage, etc. Same thing for your crow, for your Verd. Like, that's where you start like hyper fixating on those substats. But for now, just put any artifacts on them, because the lump sum of stats you get is always better than not having them.
Right.
And next, I saw another question. Wannabe trader. I'm on day 9 now, free to play, but doing TOA hard now. But I can't do Dimensional Raid for the life of me. Dude, I just want to shout that out because I don't think that's necessarily content that you need to stress about, actually. So this is the Dimensional Raid. I don't think a ton of people, unless I'm wrong, chat, please raise your hand in chat if you do the Dimensional Raid frequently. Childish, do you do the dimensional raid frequently?
I mean, I do the, I used to do the DP raid that we do once a month or whatnot, but as far as the actual raid per se, I don't really push it all too much. I did it initially just to clear my quest or whatnot that I had to complete, but ultimately, yeah, I just stuck to the main, dungeon farming and stuff like that. So
yeah, so it's a little bit complicated. So it requires very specific units that people don't always have built. So you notice they're all using the snipers. The snipers have this ability at the front that says attacks the enemy to inflict damage that ignores all damage reduction effects. So what that also means is that it ignores buffs that would stop damage. So that includes shield. The boss's shield is ignored because of that skill 1. I actually think there's an opportunity here for Sukuna to be buffed to a position where he could be used. So let me, you know what? Just because the collab's over, let me show. His name is Hayato. Hayato, his skill 1 attacks to deal damage that ignores all damage reduction effects. So it's not super consistent because the problem is that if he has skill 2 up, he'll use it. I think that a cool buff for him down the line would be to just add that line of text to this, so that way both skills ignore damage reduction effects, and he can kind of be a free-to-play option to deal with things called things like Pontos, the Light Sea Emperor, in RTA. Just ignore it. Boom. Now free-to-play players have an answer to get through some of that invincibility. This is kind of a long-winded statement to say you could use him, but at the same time, I wouldn't stress about that content too much, actually. I think it's more important that you can do other stuff in the dimension hole.
Yep. Yeah, because I do. You could do as much as you can to get your initial rewards, whatever, and then just focus on what matters the most. Just getting those runes, getting those artifacts, and then once you start getting them, you come back there and try it again.
Yes, and for reference, by the way, Hayato is available inside the Ancient Coin Shop, and you can get ancient coins by participating in events. That's why I highlighted him, is because he is a free-to-play option to do this dungeon. And it will clear, it's just not consistent. So if you're doing it just for an achievement or to kind of get through, you can use him for that. But truly, I do think that there's room for like a buff for him here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's just like a pipe dream for me. I would really like him to have that line of text added to his skill 2, just so that way he has a home. I feel like that would make it so that he really has a piece of content that he's good at. Anyway, yeah. So let's go back to the chat.
See what we got in the chat here.
And then I think this will probably have to be the last one because I just remembered that I think someone else needs the studio. So I will take a look at this. Let's see. What have we not? Anybody stand out? Oh, Marina is doing the LD only account. Should we briefly look at that?
Sure.
Okay, so this is Marina. So her account is LD only right now. And this is what they got going on for these dungeons. Oh, Marina, which one did you say that you're struggling on again? Did you say it was... If we would talk about buffs to make dungeons easier, please give us a really good, consistent buff block user, and please make it free to play. Oh, that's true, because Zinc, you have to... I think Zinc should have a not a 2A. He should have a secret dungeon. I feel like he should have a secret dungeon.
I wouldn't be mad about that. Yeah, that would be nice.
And then I think that would solve that problem. Though, if you don't use Zinc, you can use, I think you can use Ling Ling, the Wind Kung Fu girl. I mean, Marina knows this, right? I'm preaching to the choir, but, there are options out there, but a super hyper consistent one, you're right, Zinc should have a secret dungeon, I agree. For dragons, I think Dragons Childish is kind of where LD only accounts kind of falter a little bit because they don't have Verd. So, they need a different way to turn cycle.
I mean, what do we got here outside of Tion single target?
The Tion single target, we do have an opportunity. Oh, you kind of need this for TOA, but I know that using this as like the light homunculus is kind of fun too. Not that it turns cycles, but it has a team up effect, so you can kind of double down on stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say the light homunculus is a phenomenal unit for dragons. That was an old school one that we use. I think it was kind of meta, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, but it still technically could work,
Oh, look at this. Childish, they have an opportunity. If they did the light homunculus here and then 2A the Seren, that's a double team up that they could run on an LD only account. You could do like Seren move first for the defense break, bring big damage stuff like Lin, Shaman, Crow, whatever, right? And then Crow gives a team up too, the light homunculus. So you're just trying to like cycle through Crow. You make it so that Crow's moving like last on this, or second to last, and then Tion boosts up Crow at the end. So you in Magical Christmas Land, you get Seren pull Crow. You get like light homunculus pull the Crow. You get like Tion. You get Crow moves organically, then Tion boosts the Crow. Like there's something there. I would also think about maybe running either Belladon for the attack bar boost on skill 3, or use Ergar the Dark Vampire Lord for the attack buff. But I think light homunculus gives an attack buff on that same skill.
And it's funny that we sometimes forget about the light Belladon. She's the one that has that conditional HP, which is really good when things don't really go the way you want it to. So still a great option, I believe, to incorporate if you're, like I said, limited on what you can use when it comes to LD comes.
Yeah, this feels pretty good though, so far. Oh, dude, that crit damage lead. I wonder if there's a world where you could use the crit damage lead here. That's actually
honestly,
funny.
I mean, crit damage is 25 is good. I really do wish it was just a little bit higher, because I would love to see somebody consider, like I said, take it away, like to use a critical damage versus something else, right?
Dude, do you want to hear? So, what I suggested back in the day actually was that a Kamamir should have a crit damage lead. That's what I said before he had the speed lead. So this was back when he had like a accuracy lead or something. I forget what he had, but he had something kind of out there, if you remember that. They changed it to a speed lead, but before that, I was like, he should be the second monster in the game to have a crit damage lead. I thought that'd be so sick. Not super relevant to what we're here doing today, but still very cool. Could you give me?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Okay. So guys, I'm so sorry, but I think I may actually need to end stream right now, because I think I think I accidentally went over and I had forgotten that some folks needed it. Before we go, Childish, is there anything you want to say to the chat?
I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support, and we appreciate you guys being here. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to help everybody out, but I hope that you guys, keep it locked here on the Discord, Summoners War Discord. Feel free to throw some questions and stuff like that if you have them there, and we can hopefully connect there. I believe you can find me if you search for Childish. You can find me there. Feel free to DM me. I think my DMs are open. So yeah, if you ever have a question, whatever, feel free to hit me up.
Yes, dude. So, and also on that note, give Childish a follow if you don't already. I'm sure everybody here has already subscribed, but if you're not, you can find the link to his Twitch channel in the name of the stream today. And if you're looking for his YouTube as well, it's also linked on the description too. I want to remind everybody again to use Command SWGC and try to go sign up for the Guardians Club this year. Check out the prerequisites. If you're watching on YouTube, the website link is in the description. And on Friday, we've got the first of the Americas Summit. That's going to be the first round ever. Yeah. So we're going to watch 2 of our teams go at it. It's going to be me and Sean B commentating it. Should be a really fun time, same place. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.